But the deeper question remains, who is the you in control? It's the part of you that can see beyond the immediate gratification of sleep, food, or comfort, and instead focuses on the long-term benefits of discipline. I have to tell you, the mind is tricky, and the ego will always see comfort and pleasure. But true control comes from recognizing that you are not your mind. By learning to detach from the ego, you begin to see that the true you isn't the one that wants to indulge, but the one that wants to break free indulgence and distractions. A classical paradox when you say, I want to control my mind, you are already implying a separation between the part of you that is observing and the part that is being controlled. Who is really in control? Exploring the deeper question of self-discipline. Hello, this is Fatima. Today, I want to talk about a deep philosophical and spiritual question that many of us face on the path to self-discipline. Who is the one in control? When we talk about controlling the mind and body, it raises an interesting paradox. If we are trying to control our habits and desires, who exactly is the we in that equation? Let's explore the deeper understanding of the self and how it relates to discipline. Mind versus the observer. A classical paradox when you say, I want to control my mind. You are already implying a separation between the part of you that is observing and the part that is being controlled. It's as if there is a battle between your mind, which craves comfort, indulgence, and distraction, and another part of you, the observer or higher self, that wants to achieve discipline and focus. But who is the observer? Is it your consciousness, your true self? In spiritual practices, for example Vipassana, you learn that the mind is full of impulses and habits that are deeply ingrained, but there is a part of you that can witness these impulses without acting on them. This witnessing part is the key to gaining control. But first, you must recognize that this part exists separately from your thoughts. I talked about Vipassana. I need to mention that I have a video about how you can focus more and become more disciplined. I will put the link up there. Understanding the ego, the illusion of control. Much of what we identify with, our thoughts, desires, fears, and habits comes from the ego. The ego is the part of us that seeks pleasure, comfort, and validation from the external world. It's the ego that says, I want that dessert, I need to sleep more, because it believes that indulging in these cravings will bring happiness. But here's the thing, the ego is also an illusion of control. It makes you believe that satisfying these desires will give you power or fulfillment. In reality, these cravings often take you out of control, leading you to act on impulses that don't serve your higher purpose. By learning to detach from the ego, you begin to see that the true you isn't the one that wants to indulge, but the one that wants to break free indulgence and distractions. The spiritual practice of non-attachment. In many spiritual traditions like Buddhism, there is a strong emphasis on the practice of non-attachment. This means not identifying with your desires, cravings, or even your thoughts. When you practice non-attachment, you start to realize that you are not your mind. You are the awareness behind the mind, the one who observes the impulses without being controlled by them. In Vipassana, for example, the focus is on observing bodily sensations and thoughts without reacting to them. You observe discomfort, craving, or distractions arise, but instead of acting on them, you simply notice them and let them to pass. This is where the deeper control begins. By becoming the observer, you stop identifying with the mind's impulses. The role of discipline in realizing who's in control. Discipline is the bridge between recognizing the mind's trickery and reclaiming control over your life. When you establish disciplined habits like waking up early, resisting cravings, or sticking to a routine, you are not just gaining control over your behaviors. You are also reinforcing the idea that you are in control, not your mind's impulses. But the deeper question remains, who is the you in control? As you continue practicing discipline, you start to realize that the true self is the one that desires growth, mindfulness, and purpose, rather than the one chasing temporary pleasures. Over time, you begin to identify less with the ego and more with the higher version of yourself, aligning with your higher self, the essence of true control. The journey to self discipline is really about aligning with your higher self. Your higher self is that part of you that seeks to live with purpose, clarity, and presence. It's the part of you that can see beyond the immediate gratification of sleep, food, or comfort, and instead focuses on the long-term benefits of discipline. When you wake up early or resist late-night snacking, it's your higher self that is choosing to override the ego's cravings. The more you act in alignment with your higher self, the more you gain control, and the less the ego and the mind's impulses dominates your actions. Now, let's talk about some practical steps to reclaim control. Mindful observation. Whenever you feel the pull of craving or laziness, take a moment to observe the impulse without acting on it. Ask yourself, who is experiencing this desire? Who is choosing how to respond? Question your desire. When you want to sleep more or eat more, ask, is this coming from my higher self or my ego? This helps you build the habit of questioning the mind's trickery. Daily discipline practices. Establish small, consistent practices to reinforce control, like waking up at the same time every day, eating at set times, or engaging in regular meditation. These habits build mental strength, make it easier to act in alignment with your higher self. So, who is the one in control? The answer lies in your ability to observe, detach, and act in alignment with your higher self. I have to tell you, the mind is tricky, and the ego will always see comfort and pleasure. But true control comes from recognizing that you are not your mind. You are the awareness behind it. As you practice discipline and mindfulness, you will find that the deeper you emerges, the one who is in control, the one who chooses growth over comfort, and the one who is truly free. Wow, it was interesting. My name is Fateme. Thank you so much for being with me today. Happy manifesting and goodbye.